Welcome to the Home Business Podcast with Richard Captain Henderson, publisher of Home Business Magazine, and Sherilyn Colleen, managing editor. This how-to show helps you successfully operate your home-based business.
Greetings and welcome to the Home Business Podcast. I'm Richard Captain Henderson, your host. On the Home Business Podcast, we love startup stories. Our listeners love to hear profiles of other entrepreneurs. Over the years, we have covered so many different entrepreneurs: mompreneurs, dad-preneurs, crypto-preneurs, zoom-preneurs. But a gin-preneur? Yes, I thought I'd seen it all. I didn't even know that the drink known as gin was still even around. But today's guest, Adam von Gootkin, co-founder and chief executive officer of Highclere Castle Spirits, proves otherwise. Adam has carved out an impressive niche in spirits and, in general, the booming gin industry. Adam proves that you can breathe new startup success into an old and stale traditional market. So, greetings, Adam von Gootkin. Welcome to the Home Business Podcast. Say hello.
Great to be here with you, Richard. Thanks.
Hi. So you're dialing in from the as we called it, the shore in Connecticut?
Yes, that's right. That's where we are right now. Headquarters from Highclere Castle, away from Highclere Castle.
There we go. Hey, I just remember from my days in Connecticut, that starts to get really beautiful in the fall. So
Indeed.
That'll be inspirational.
Yeah, best time of year, I think.
Cool. Well, Adam von Gootkin, let's get to know you better. Give us your 30-second elevator pitch.
Sure. Well, Highclere Castle is known around the world to many millions of people as Downton Abbey, but it's actually a real functioning English country estate and castle, lived in by my co-founders and partners, the Earl and Countess of Carnarvon. We make Highclere Castle gin using botanicals from the famous estate, distilled in England's oldest gin distillery, and we are now one of the most awarded gins in the world.
Wow. Now, what were the titles there? An Earl and...
Yes, he's the 8th Earl of Carnarvon, and she's the Countess of Carnarvon.
Man, I just love that royalty. You know, it goes back 1,000 years, and it's just cool. Yeah,
it is a special history, and for us to be able to kind of liquefy the spirit of Highclere and what it represents, hundreds of years of hosting the most incredible parties and the commitment to running the state and all that kind of stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good way to anchor the brand, but want to talk a little bit about risk taking. So, and I guess it runs in the family. Your great grandfather ran a Prohibition-era speakeasy on the Connecticut River.
Yes, it's true. Actually, my ancestors back to the 1800s had a very large distillery here making whiskey. And then during Prohibition, my great grandfather had a pretty well renowned hotel. We had 2 steamship paddle boats that come in from Manhattan every day carrying people and goods. And once Prohibition hit, those goods included, illegally smuggled rum, gin, and moonshine. And so, yeah, it's kind of known around here, and a fun family history for sure.
Well, I would look at that as a point of pride.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, it attracted me somehow on a genetic level to the liquor industry. And once I learned to distill in my 20s, I found a real passion for producing spirits and kind of breathing life into them.
The DNA is wired in. Well, Adam, what was the opportunity that you saw in the gin and spirits market that you decided to target, as an extension of the existing products that you have?
Yeah, I mean, to keep it high level, I just felt that there was a lack of a truly authentic luxury gin on the market. Many of the gin brands that are out there have become rather stale. And they're these kind of old brands. They haven't really been innovated. And the gin category is the fastest growing spirits category in the world. A lot of people are discovering.
Really?
Yes, it's there's a lot of vodka drinkers that are realizing that gin makes a more sophisticated cocktail. So my mission was to, create the perfect gin, a gin with a terroir, with a story, with exceptional flavor and packaging, but also that comes from a place and has a story and a real reason to be, not just some made up marketing spiel done in a corporate boardroom, but a very real gin.
And yeah, so I saw that like in the press release. Just out of curiosity, with the gin, do you, it's a berry, right? That's fermented, a certain kind of berry, and maybe do you look for any uniqueness in that kind of ingredient you use?
Well, the predominant flavor in gin is from the juniper berry.
Juniper, right?
It has a very kind of pine forward flavor profile. It is actually one of the reasons why there's also quite a few people that don't think they like gin. What we've done is we've backed the juniper way down, and we use oranges and citrus from the Victorian era orangery behind the castle. So we're a very citrus forward gin, backed up by a little hint of lavender that was planted at Highclere in the 9th century by the Bishop of Winchester. So over 1,000-year-old lavender are harvested for that.
Oh man, this is cool. Well, you have built what some might call cachet and panache in the image of your company. What were some of the challenges in building up such an attractive brand?
Well, of course, there's always, the obsession that we have with quality and being the absolute best. It took us over a year to get the recipe right and 25 iterations using these botanical.
Just out of curiosity on brewing, is there a certain timeline that you have to brew gin where you can test it? Because I imagine that length of brewing would
we're distilled in England's oldest gin distillery. In fact, it's made in England's oldest copper pot gin stills. So it takes about 2 weeks to do a batch all in. Remember, it's not barrel aged like whiskey, so it's clear. And it allows us to make it in a reasonably, faster period of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So how clear it is means less time having to, I guess, let it distill.
Well, clear spirits are essentially coming right out of the still and being bottled. The reason spirits like whiskeys and rums get brown is because they're being aged in casks or barrels.
Okay.
And the inside of those barrels or casks are actually toasted or charred. And that imparts a brown coloring to brown spirits.
All right, I've learned some good trivia to throw out at my next cocktail party. Adam, you have achieved impressive business growth overall. What were some of the, big picture, the marketing that worked best for you?
Well, obviously, these days, and our brand included, we're very social media driven. So I definitely invite any of your listeners to follow us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. The ability to communicate with people regularly, stay in touch with our customer, tell stories, share cocktails. During COVID, in fact, we did something rather unique. Lord and Lady Carnarvon started hosting Facebook and Instagram live cocktail parties with.
It must have been worldwide then.
Yeah, we had the largest virtual cocktail party in history with 50,000 attendees around the world. So, being innovative, being creative, thinking outside of the box, having fun with the product, and most importantly, storytelling, because that's really what making a brand is about, engaging people in the story and having the story become part of their life.
Yeah, getting back on the social media, is Facebook the big ones, Facebook and Instagram, maybe Twitter still kind of predominant, or have you found any of the other ones like getting into TikTok beneficial?
Yeah, TikTok really skews quite a bit younger, or it has been. So we haven't really put a lot of effort there because a lot of the TikTok user, it's not appropriate to be marketing alcohol to them, but that's starting to change now as well. And we're quite active on YouTube. We post videos pretty regularly, really cool interviews, how to make different cocktails, things like that.
Oh, cool. We'll get this up on YouTube also. Hey, Adam, in your business growth and expansion, I imagine you focused on expanding your product's reach by trying to take market share away from existing players in the gym market. Anything you could say on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously our competition are the big global players for the most part.
Nobody likes them anyway.
Yeah, you think of Diageo or Pernod Ricard or Bacardi, the really big guys.
Right.
So it's challenging. We have to be, we have to be more nimble. We have to be more creative because they have a lot of resources and they have a very large portfolio of brands. So what we've done is, number one, really obsess over the customer and that end consumer. We talked about that already in terms of the marketing and stuff that we do. Number two is, from London to New York, Florida to LA, we are featured in many of the finest restaurants and hotels and bars in the world. In fact, we're the featured gin on Viking Cruise Line.
Really?
So over the 2.5 years that we've been in the market, we have really diligently focused on our customer service to those customers and rolling out the finest cocktails and really allowing these hotels, bars, and restaurants to
I'm just curious on getting, like Viking, that's a real coup. They're like the top cruise for both, what was it, river and ocean going. So that's, that's top shelf. What did they come to the brand through word of mouth, or did you have to specifically reach out to them? Because that's a good lesson for anybody who's coming in small and trying to reach a big whale in an industry.
Yeah, well, in that case, Viking already had somewhat of a partnership with Highclere Castle for the certain months of the year that Highclere is open to the public.
Oh.
Some of their, some of their clientele have been able to take trips to Highclere to see it in person. So that helped facilitate. We built on that partnership to get us where we are today. But they are a wonderful company, and we're quite lucky to have them.
That's cool. So there's a slight connection you had, and you leveraged it. That's good.
Exactly.
Adam, in building an innovative business as you have, what were some of the biggest hurdles you had to overcome?
Well, there's always a matter of, we launched this thing 6 months before COVID hit. So literally,
what luck on that,
it's the biggest hurdle probably that most of us had to overcome. We lost all of our restaurants and hotels and our distributors 6 months after launching, and then watched the hospitality industry just get absolutely devastated. In the liquor business, that's really where you build your brand. So learning how to pivot through that was really important for us to do. Also, the liquor industry traditionally hasn't really embraced e-commerce until relatively recently. So getting very good at our e-commerce and building out our own e-commerce platform was a big hurdle for us.
So that means you'll ship the product through the mail, through the mail then.
Yeah, people can deliver Highclere Castle Gin and have it delivered to their home. Exactly that.
Yeah, I just wasn't really aware of that. And some liquor came to my house, and he comes up and he goes, "Can I see your ID?" And I go, "Whoa, what's going on here?" He goes, "I can't drop this off unless I check your ID because it's alcohol." So that's becoming a big way to distribute. And I guess that's good to nimble right into that. Well, Adam, you were also an author. Anything you want to add on your book, Living Proof? Onyx Moonshine's Journey to Revive the American Spirit. Who's Onyx Moonshine?
Onyx Moonshine was a brand that I started before Highclere Castle. We built one of the first distilleries in Connecticut in many, many decades. Award-winning local, very regional brand, kind of a boutique distillery.
I thought maybe Onyx was your great-grandfather's name.
No. It was the name of the moonshine and whiskey that we produced kind of in their honor to pay homage to them. And the book is really just about how I left college without completing it after one semester, and I've been an entrepreneur ever since. So the book just encapsulates the story of starting businesses from scratch and how I figured it out, and how I did it. And I just wanted to share that story with other entrepreneurs that were looking to take that plunge or take that risk, with the hopes that I might inspire them to not be afraid and jump right in.
There's no better teacher than just getting out and getting your hands dirty. That's for sure. So Adam, what does the future hold for you and your burgeoning gin and cigars and global portfolio of distinctly authentic brands?
Well, Highclere Gin, we're really just focused on expanding that in quality ways with great partners. But I do have something that we're doing now that's very exciting that we haven't really announced yet. This year is the 100-year anniversary of the discovery of the tomb of King Tutankhamun by Lord Carnarvon's great-grandfather. He left Highclere Castle in 1922 for the sands of Egypt and discovered the tomb with Howard Carter.
Wow. So you've got that connection to King Tut.
Exactly. Wow. So to pay tribute to that, for the last 2 years, we've been barrel aging Highclere Castle Gin and Armagnac Scotch whiskey and American oak barrels. And it's releasing this November in a stunning gold bottle. And actually, people can go on our website and reserve a bottle at highclerecastlegin.com. I got one right here.
Let's see it.
Gold version
That's cool.
Of the bottle. Yeah. Barrel aged, so it's brown. And it's completely authentic and very, very unique and rare. We're only doing 2,000 cases, and then we're never going to release it again. So
if we look hard enough, we'll see Highclere spirits in one of the hieroglyphics on King Tut's tomb.
Wouldn't that be something?
That is, that is cool. Adam von Gootkin, this has been a great discussion profiling your entrepreneurial success. Do you have any final points you'd like to share?
Well, it was great. It was great being on with you, Richard, today. I appreciate your interest. And certainly for everybody listening, you can go to highclerecastlegin.com to read up on recipes, check out our new blog, reserve your bottle of the barrel-aged gin, or have a bottle delivered to your house.
That's the first thing I'm going to do, reserve my bottle. Well, Adam von Gootkin, thanks for joining us today on the Home Business Podcast.
Thank you, Richard. Nice to be here.
To learn more about Adam von Gootkin and Highclere Castle Gin, please visit highclerecastlegin.com or our podcast website for more information on guests. Thanks for joining us today on this episode of the Home Business Podcast. Share your feedback with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at our website, homebusinessmag.com. Subscribe to the newsletter, read our book, The Home-Based Business Startup Guide. For more information, visit homebusinessmag.com or homebusinessexpo.com. I'm Richard Capton saying anchors away. We'll talk with you soon. Until then, make it a great home-based gin happy hour day.